Hi, y'all. It's September. September what? September now. I wanted to come back on to give some insight on my process in hopes that it might serve you in your process at some point in time, because I hit a glitch. And when I was in relationship, I'd say I was glitching out with the other person, but now there's no other person. So I just glitch like meh, 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 with myself. I was glitched out. And I'm also premenstrual. Yeah, it's a lot of information, but at least half of the people listening, I don't even know if that's any men listen to me at all. But you ladies know what's happening hormonally in the time leading up. And it's when I go dark. It's when I go shadowy. It's when I feel like there's some slippage in my mental dominion and where I've cultivated some incredible equanimity in the last several years where there's a still lake here. It's not a racing mind. I don't have racing thoughts. I don't have anxiety. I don't have worries. I don't have constriction. That's not the landscape anymore. And yet, when I'm hormonal, God bless this 51-year-old body. I'm just loving it, loving it, loving it. And I can anticipate, I can still track what's happening here. And so, in addition to eating cookies when I don't normally eat cookies, like a fiend, I was eating cookies, which then, just depressed my whole system. I watched my mind go dark. And it's cool to have this level of refinement in my energetic system, to be watching it. It's like watching the curtain come down on my mind. And I'm like, no. And I know to go back to basics. I know to be doing daily Wim Hof. I know to be taking cold showers. I know I need to be on my trampoline. I watched myself eat the cookies on more than one occasion. Take the chocolate chip cookies and dip them in some hot chamomile tea, just for a second, just so they soften up. And they were so delicious. And my body the next day was like, what did you do with all that sugar? Oh, God bless me. So I'm watching myself. I'm companioning myself. I'm grabbing a hold of myself. I'm doing my best not to leave myself or judge myself or betray myself. The cookies were it, which is sugar is a habit, but I've broken so many habits in the so many that it's okay. It's a cookie or six. What am I talking about? I'm talking about resistance. I'm talking about shadowy thoughts. I'm talking about when the mind feels like it has more power over you than you do over yourself. And I say with my clients, don't let the train go too far down the track without pulling it back. Like, it might go 2 or 3 stops down, but become aware of where your mind is going and grab it and pull it back. And when you do that consistently for months and years, you can do it. You can do it. I promise you can do it. You got to clear some of the trauma. You got to say no to some of the drama. You got to take some responsibility, which is it's a whole nother story. This video is about a confession session, my resistance. And it was like 48 hours of just like, blah, just canceling, hanging out with my new best friend, my 82-year-old German friend. Oh, I love her, Omanasa. She lights me up. And I was like, I don't want Omanasa to see me moody. I didn't even really, I was grumped out and didn't really want to be with myself. And I was like, I didn't want to have to think about why I was feeling this way. I was just trying to do the basic stuff, doing breath work, showing up for my clients, showing up for facilitation, being in nature, getting in water. Besides the sugar, I was on track, and yet something had a hold. My body was achy, my spirit was low. I was grumped out, and I was looking for trouble in my mind, looking for trouble, victimization, victimhood, blah 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 blah. And yesterday, I took myself through this is like a real confession, took myself through one of my own breathwork practices that I think I've done that maybe 2 or 3 times. And I don't know because it's my voice and yet I find it so reassuring. If you like my voice, bless you. May it serve you. Try one of these breathwork sessions. See if it supports you in your healing journey. It's supporting me. So I went through my Buy Me a Coffee library and I chose the breathwork practice yesterday afternoon called Resistance because I was like, something's happening with me. And I don't know what else to do in these spaces except take care of myself. After all these years, I figured out that's what needs to happen. I got to feel myself. I got to be with myself. I got to not betray myself. I got to do the fundamentals, get outside, do breath work, get in my body, feel my feels, feel confused, uncertain, tight, resistant, agitated, and try not to put it on anybody. So that's what I was doing in practice. That's what it practically looked like. Yesterday afternoon, I put in my earbuds. Did I put in my earbuds? I didn't. I laid in my bed. I put on the hour-long session, Resistance, and I recorded it in June for my Breath of Love people. And I gotta say, it's a really good one. It's a really good one. They're not all that good. I'm not always that attuned. I'm not always like offering the guidance that's like boom, 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 boom. But this is just what I needed. And I was like, it's like life. I feel like we've come back through space and time from another place in time. And we've laid out breadcrumbs for this us to make our way to the future us. There are breadcrumbs along your path. And I hope that you have found them and gotten the evidence for them. But this session was like a huge breadcrumb for me. And what I was saying to the people live at the time was so helpful for where I was in the last, 48, 72 hours in my own spirit, wrestling with the inner demons, the shadowy mind, the dark mind, the negative thoughts. I had watched probably too many YouTube videos, BitChute videos, alternative media, what's happening in the world. What's happening in the world? What's happening in the world? What's happening in this world? It's enough. Your world is enough. Are you tending to it? I was doing my best to tend to it. And in that session, wow, I released a lot of energy in my body. I burped. I burped a lot. That's how my body purges mainly. A lot of yawning can happen, a lot of shaking can happen, a lot of things happen when you're in a breathwork session because the nervous system is unraveling the vagus nerve, which is responsible for so much. When you engage it consciously for so long, it will stimulate the central nervous system and it will clear your channel, this thing. And so the way mine clears is a lot of burping. So that was happening. By the time I got to the resting part of the breath work, I was sobbing. I was moving so much energy. I was having realizations. I was feeling a sense of isolation, of loneliness, of separateness, of not enoughness, of, where's mine kind of thing. Old limited beliefs had just like, maybe they were stored in my tissues. Maybe it was from my childhood abuse, my childhood neglect. I'm certain that was most of it. My inner mother came online and grabbed a hold of me. My inner champion came online. And they've been online for the last year and a half. And I've made playlists about them as well to support you all. Because when it was done and when I was done crying and rolling to my side and holding myself and listening to the poem that I had chosen in that June session, the poem itself was stunning and I didn't remember it. And I'm going to read it for you all that are still here. And I love you and appreciate you. And I'm just sharing some of my truth, some of what happens here for me in hopes that it might serve you in taking care of yourself in your own healing journey, that you may discover the tools and habits and rituals and practices that will help you when you do go dark, when you do ebb, when you do constrict, when you do have the judgments become overwhelming, when you do wobble, when you do go off the rails. I'm learning to humble myself. Why I'm pointing this finger, I don't know. Because every time I think I got a grip, every time I think I got a grip. And so it is humbling. It is humbling. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate myself for knowing that more and more. And that when I do go dark, that it's temporary. I woke up this morning and went on the trampoline, watched my mind try to grab a hold of some really sketchy stuff this morning. And I was like, no. When I went out 5 a.m, got on the trampoline, the wind was blowing. I have some beautiful aspen trees back there. And it was such a companion. The wind and the nature, the moon was out, the stars were still twinkling. The stray cats were hanging out with me. I was fully companioned. I had my inner companionship yesterday. I had this nature companioning me this morning, and another wave of sorrow, another wave of healing came this morning. And after more crying, God bless the tears, bless you when you cry, bless you when you cry, bless you when you're brave enough to surrender to your emotionality and let yourself have the feelings. That is part of the healing journey. It's scary to know that. To get integrated, we kind of have to go back and presence and feel those things again. And I think that's why so few people choose to do serious work with me, because it is an invitation to feel your way back to wholeness. You can't think your way there. You actually got it. It's got to move through your soma. Your system has to integrate the traumas that affected it back in the day, my loves, back in the day. But the thing is, you're more mature now. There's more help now. There's more light on the planet now. There's way more support than there was before. And you got my heart to champion you. I'm championing myself. So had another great cry this morning on the trampoline, and then it was like a rebirth. And this cycle will rinse, wash, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. It's going to happen again, whether that's going to be next Tuesday or a month from today or a year from today. I can count on it, and you can count on it. This constriction and expansion, constriction, expansion. It's just like the breath. It goes in, it goes out, like micro, like macro, my loves. We got to get used to it. We got to get used to feeling okay when we're in the tight places. We got to get used to feeling okay when it feels really not okay. This is the space where we really have to remember ourselves, call for help, and do the fundamental practices that will stabilize your system. It's quite a long share, and I love you and appreciate you. I'm going to end this with the poem, and I'm going to put a link to that Buy Me a Coffee resistant breathwork session. It's loaded with lots of tools, a really cool analogy at the beginning to help you manage all the players. There's so many. There's so many. And your high self is the one I'm calling for, that champion of light. Come on out. I want to be with you. And it's okay. I'll be with the other ones too, but in a different way. So I'm going to read this poem now. It's from Danielle Laporte. My God, she's an incredible spirit. I got to give her props. I don't know what the rules are about sharing other people's work, but God bless her. It served me, and I hope it will serve you. It's called Show Me How to Love Myself. Show Me How to Love Myself, a devotion by Danielle Laporte. I'm going to read it for you to take it in. Maybe you can soften everywhere you can right now. If you want to close your eyes, if you can, great. If that feels good, great. If not, fine. Show me how to love myself truly and entirely. Show me how to eat, sleep, and move my body for nourishment, restoration, celebration. Show me how to embody everything that is my joy. Face me toward my soul, my innocence, my beauty, my strength, my gifts. Show me what I knew before I took on the veils of human form. Show me who I am with no attachments and who I am fulfilled. Rinse comparison from my psyche. Lift my gaze to my higher self. On the dark days, just remind me that I am a good person and that I was chosen to be here. Please affirm that I am valued regardless of my productivity or my past. Help me notice how my loving shows up in everyday doings. Help me see how I make a positive difference to the atmosphere of life itself. Show me how to reveal in my divine qualities. Show me how to revel in my divine qualities and to give them generously to the world. Support me to make empowered choices that are the best for my body, mind, and spirit. Help me integrate the parts of myself that I've abandoned so that I move forward fuller and wise. There is a formula for forgiveness. Help me mix it and drink it, first bringing the cup to my own lips to loosen and wash away what I have held against myself. Help me shift my relationship to deserving so that I tend to my needs with incredible sweetness. Guide me to knowing my magnificence, that I will transform self-doubt into courage, denial into resolve, brittleness into fluidity, criticism into adoration, proving into honoring, striving into trusting, constriction into allowing, and harshness into an embrace that is greater than time. May all be so blessed. May all be so blessed. May you be so blessed. May I be so blessed. May we all be so blessed. May this message serve you. It is sent from my heart to your heart for your expansion, for your growth, for your healing, for your loving, for your caring, for your hurting, for your tenderness, for your vulnerability, for everything that you judge as wrong about yourself. We are more than enough. We are here. We are alive. We are present. We are love. I'll be with you again very soon.